what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm not gonna mess around, I gotta jump right to it. I picked up a roll-up bed cover for the Jeep Gladiator, mainly because we're getting ready to go on a little road trip with our friends Corey and Gina this weekend. We're heading to Tennessee, and I need a way to be able to put our luggage in the bed without it getting rained on or whatever weather is happening. What I did was I went on Amazon. I've been seeing some people posting about this. On Amazon, I got the knockoff roll-up tonneau cover, basically the cheapest tonneau cover you can get for the Gladiator. And we're gonna try it out today. So let me just show you real quick. I do have on my Chevy Silverado, and I've been running these for years. I probably bought 5 of these, is the Tuxedo Low Pro roll-up tonneau cover. And I love this thing. It's perfect. It keeps it nice and dry. Super easy to install, and it just rolls up completely out of the way if you need to actually use the bed completely. I think my camera's fogging up. It's really hot and humid out here today in Chicago, and my camera was inside where it was air conditioned, and I brought it out, so now it's fogging up. Let's see if I can fix this. I think that's better. Okay, so I'll try not to let it fog up anymore. But anyways, I went on Amazon. I found a knockoff version of the Tuxedo tonneau cover for the Gladiator. It just came in today. It took about 3-4 days to get here. So I'm gonna open this bad boy up. It is from Tiger Auto, and assuming that it works and that it actually fits nicely, I'll make sure I put a link to the cover in the description for the YouTube video here. But let's get started. Like I said, I'm not gonna mess around. We're gonna jump right into it. I'm gonna open this up and we'll start getting it installed. As you can see, I have already removed the JCR spare tire mount, which is down on the floor over there, and I've pulled the spare tire because with that spare tire sticking up, this cover is not going to fit, obviously rolling up flat, because that spare does sit out of there a ways. But luckily it's nice and easy to pop out that spare tire mount, 4 bolts. I'm just going to lay the spare in here for our road trip, and then we'll be able to get our luggage in around it. So here we go, let's get this thing installed. So we got the weather stripping. This piece is just gonna go along the front edge of the bed. That has been very important on the Tuxedo cover that I've always used. If you don't get this in on there nicely and secure, you will get leaks in the bed. So I gotta make sure I put that in there properly. Then you've got the rails. These are gonna go down the sides. Some instructions. Maybe we'll use them, maybe we won't. And then this should be the hardware. Looks like it comes with 4 of the clamps. These are gonna go 2 on each side to hold the rails down. And then it looks like they packaged the cover nicely in this little protective sleeve. Actually, this whole thing came very nicely packaged. Nice lightweight, but I'm gonna go ahead and set this to the side for now. Okay, I actually started getting ahead of myself by putting the top up here. And like I mentioned, the rubber or the seal is very important here on the bed, because as you can see, there's about a, I don't know, 1/4 inch or 3/8 gap between the bed rail and the top of the bed here. So we do need to put that gasket sealing in here to make sure that no water can leak in underneath the cover. So this gasket is super easy to install. It's just got some tape backing, and what you want to do is just try to line it up on one side, and you want to put it evenly all the way down, and then when you get to the other side, you can cut it to the right length it needs to be so it fits in there flush. So I'm actually going to start sticking it over here, run it down, and when I get to that other end, I will cut it there. And now that it's all stuck, I'm just going to cut this real tight up against this side of the bed rail. All right, so now that it's done and cut, you can see they actually gave plenty of weather stripping, so I've actually got about I don't know, 14 inches left over, which is nice in case you ever need to replace a section of it. So what I've done is I've taken out the 2 side rails and I've kind of laid them up on each rail, and I've got the actual cover laid out here on top across basically along the cab side of the vehicle. What we're gonna do now is we do need to loosen a couple of screws in the cover here so that we can slide the rails into place. So I hopped up in the bed, and you'll notice here on the inside is this screw that I'm talking about. So with the screw loose in the corner here, it's just a Phillips screw, just loosen it. What it does, it allows you to slide the side rail track into it, and there's just a nice little groove in the side here for it to slide in, and then you're going to tighten down the Phillips screw on both sides. Let's see if you can get a little better view over here on this side. Yeah, it's a little lighter. So this the side rail just slides right into the track there in the corner, and then we're just going to go ahead and tighten down the screw. Make sure it's nice and tight in there. And then once you tighten in that screw, it'll lock it in so that the side rails are tight with the header. So we'll do that on this side. All right, nice and tight there. So next up, after you've got the 2 side rails attached to the actual header piece, you're going to take the 4 supplied clamps, and you're going to actually clamp the rails to the actual bed rail. And what you want to try and do is you want to try to space everything evenly, but we're going to clamp these on loosely until we get it all kind of in place and we can test it to see how it fits along the tailgate, because we may need to adjust it forward or back or side to side a little bit. So right now we're just kind of laying it in there nice and easy. You're going to want a ratchet with a 10mm socket to tighten down. Basically it's just a bolt that goes through with a nut on the other end. Both are 10mm, and you're just going to tighten these down to the rails. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. What you want to do is try to evenly space everything out. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to grab one of the clamps and loosen it up completely. Basically take the nut off. So the nut goes from the bottom side, you got the bolt coming down from the top, and what you'll notice is the bottom half is kind of a U shape, and then the top has got a little arm, and that's how it's going to clamp onto the rail. So what I'm doing is I'm taking the bottom U part, kind of sliding it up from underneath so that it grabs the rail of the bed, and then this piece is going to kind of clamp onto the rail of the actual cover, and then they're going to kind of go together, and then you can take the bolt and drop it through from the top, line it up with the hole on the bottom piece, and then the nut is just going to go into the bottom, and what will happen is once you start it in there, the nut is actually going to be held in place by the clamp. So you can kind of hold it up, grab your 10mm or your ratchet and your 10mm socket, and you can just start tightening it down from above. Now you don't want to tighten this too much, so we're going to leave them pretty loose until we get everything lined up. Sorry for getting a lot of background noise right now. The rain just picked up outside and it's pretty crazy. But so right now I've got both of these clamps started on this side. You can see you got one here, one here. This is not how you want them. You want to space them out along the side of the rail, but I was just trying to get them both on camera. And so now I'm going to position them so that one's towards the back of the vehicle and one's closer to the front. And then I've just got to do the other side. And then I can really work on positioning the rails and the front so that I can test it to see how when it unrolls, it rolls out against the tailgate. So I'm going to slide those two into position. The rails kind of are sloped, and you want them to angle higher towards the inside of the bed and slope down towards the outside of the bed. It's going to give you the best seal when you roll the bed cover shut. So now I just need to do the other side and line things up. Just got to get these clamps locked in, and then I can adjust everything and make sure it's all lined up properly. So I got the one towards the cab of the truck started. Now I just got this last one to get going here. Okay, so with all the rails kind of loosely tightened all 4 of the clamps down, it's time to roll out the bed cover. If you haven't already unclipped these straps, those are just to hold it tight when you roll it open. So I've unhooked those, and now it's just time to roll out the cover. So you can see I've just started rolling it out. There is some styrofoam in here that you'll want to pull out. All right, with all the styrofoam out of the way, I can finish flipping this over. And what happens is when you go to lock it in, I can already see that I need to move the whole bed piece back further. So this is where you're going to need to do some adjustment and playing around to make sure you get it aligned properly so that it lines up nice and tight and will clip and lock in here properly so that it get a nice seal on the tailgate. So I'm gonna play around with it a little bit and let you know if I can find any tips or tricks to get this done. Okay, so with my initial setting, I can see I've got the rails way too far to the back. And what's happening is as I pull this down, it's actually gonna overhang the tailgate. And then what I noticed is in the front here, I completely missed the rubber that I put down, the rubber seal. So I need to move this whole thing back at least an inch, and then I think that will get it to line up perfectly to the tailgate. On my second try here, I got it a little closer, but I still got a little gap here in the corner. But you can see I do have it lined up pretty well on the gasket here, but I do need to come back probably another ½ inch or so. And I think what that will do is give us a nice tight seal in the corners here on both sides. And then once I get it fitting and sitting where I want, then I can go ahead and tighten down all those bolts for the clamps and we will be done. Okay, I think I just about got it. What you'll see is that these edges Velcro down nicely, gives a nice tight seal. And I do have the gap here real nice up against my little piece of seal that I put along the bed. And I made sure that the gap was pretty even. I am gonna still double check that the rails sit about even side to side. But you can see here, this is actually sitting better and the gasket is actually touching here nicely. Okay, so that's it. I've got all 4 of the clamps locked down nice and tight. Everything's on and adjusted. I did find that moving it closer to the cab of the truck, like the whole frame and everything, worked out best because this was hanging off the edge just a little bit on the back 2 corners. I will say that's probably the one thing I can pick on this whole cover is that it's clear that it's not designed for the Gladiator because this edge is not kind of rounded like the Gladiator is. Most people would probably never notice. I probably wouldn't have ever noticed until other than the fact that I was installing it because I think the whole cover looks real nice. It's nice and tight. It's firm. It seems like it's good quality material. And there's 2 things that I do like about this that are better than my Tuxedo top. And again, I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, this cover is less than half the price of the Tuxedo Low Pro roll-up comparable cover that I've been using for years. The first thing I like better than the Tuxedo is that when you do open this, the latching portion, basically to release it so that you can roll it up, on the Tuxedo, you only have a latch on one side. On this, it's actually a pull down kind of lever and you could do it from either side. Nothing, it's not a big deal, but it's just kind of nice that it is there. And when you pull that down, it pops up and it's ready to roll up. And then you roll it all the way up. Hard to do kind of one-handed, but it's going just fine. And once you have it all the way rolled up, you've got these straps, one on each side, that go up and over, and they hook in to a little hook down in here. Let me flip the camera around so you can see that better. So the strap comes up and over, and then there's just a little hook there, and it hooks into that so that when you're driving, if you need it open, it's not going to be flapping or blowing away or taking off on you. And you do have one on both sides. What I like about this better than the Tuxedo one is the Tuxedo one is just kind of a stretchy material and there's no adjustment. This one here is actually adjustable because you've got an adjustable strap, so you can tighten it as tight as you want. So if it looks a little loose to you, you can just tighten it down and you get a better, tighter seal on that. So let me show you again on the other side here. Same thing, you've got another strap right here, just a little hook, and then there's just a little loop on this side, and you push it down in here and loop it in, and then again you can pull this tighter so you got a nice tight roll up. And I'll show you one more time here, rolling it back up. And just like that, it locked down. And then I can close my tailgate. You can see it does get a nice tight seal all the way along and all the way around. And it's still got nicely butted up to the gasket I put in there. I think it looks great. Actually, it looks really nice on the Gladiator. I like that it's got a little bit of a bow to the cross braces because that'll keep the water flowing off of it nicely. And overall, just a really great top. So that's gonna wrap things up. Like I said, this is a really great top. I'm really happy with the quality. The product is, especially at half the price of the ones I've been buying, can't beat it. Especially for me, I'm not planning on leaving this on full time. It comes off real easy, just basically 4 screws and I can lift it off and kind of store it out of my way. In the meantime, you know, between when I need it for road trips and stuff, because that's really the only time I plan on using it. Otherwise, I'll have the spare mounted in there. I just like the way that looks. I think it's cool. But for those of you that need a full-time cover, this is well worth the money. Definitely check out the Tiger. It's listed on Amazon for a Chevy Colorado with a 5'2" bed. That's what I ordered. It fits perfectly. I'm really happy with it. So I'll make sure I put the link below. Make sure you click that link and check it out. Just want to say thanks again for watching. We appreciate all the support. We are super close to 10,000 subscribers. So if you're not already subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button, give us a big thumbs up, and comment below. Tell us what you think of this cover. Thanks again.